hammers for the tie. Wow! Oh, my goodness! Michael Jordan. Big finish. Dreams to come true. Oh, it almost went in. As good as it gets.
On the road to the Final Four, we join you today from Austin, Texas, in a battle in the Big 12. The Kansas Jayhawks taking on the Texas Longhorns. And welcome courtside here at the Irwin Center. Hi, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarkle. Great to be with you. College basketball here on CBS. We're about midway through the college basketball season, Jimmy, and one thing has become abundantly clear. The Big 12 is for real.
They really are. They are one of the deepest conferences and well-balanced. And one of the things about this conference is they have a lot of talent on an individual basis, Ian. But the key thing is that all of these teams have a unique way of playing. Some are offensive-minded, some are defense. A lot of twists and turns, but there are no easy wins in this conference.
Well, through the years, Kansas has really been known as a team that has rim protectors. This year, it's Texas that's taken on that role.
Yeah, and what a luxury for Rick Barnes. When you look at these guys and the way they block shots, they are terrific at it. So he can mix it up with the man-to-man defense. Also has been using the zone, but it's very difficult to really score down deep against Texas.
As for Kansas, Bill Self has a young team still trying to figure out exactly what kind of squad they are.
Well, they're going to have trouble trying to figure out what to do against that defense today, but I think what you'll see Kansas do is probe, get in the middle of the lane, and look for them to kick the ball outside. They're shooting the ball at about 40% from the three-point strike.
All right, Jimmy, let's check out our AT&T fast analysis for this one, Kansas and Texas.
Well, we're going to focus on Isaiah Taylor, and one of the key things for him is making good decisions. He's very good up and down in transition, but as he comes around the corner, watch how he has to make decisions and find his bigs down deep. If he makes those decisions, life will be easier for the big guys down deep. And then you take a look at Kansas. What are they going to have to do? I think they're going to have to really drive the ball. Kelly Oubre has been shooting the ball very, very well. Kansas has to hope they knock those long-range shots down.
Action from the Big 12 today from Austin, Texas. It's Kansas taking on the Longhorns. Club starting lineups and opening tip on the road to the Final Four here on CBS. Is sponsored by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick. The Venture Card from Capital One. And by AT&T. Mobilizing your world. Back in Austin, Bill Self, 3-4 in his career, playing in Austin as the head coach at Kansas. Now Microsoft Surface takes us first on the court as we checked out the starting lineup for the Jayhawks, who enter action at 15-3. Mason, Selden, and Oubre up front. Traylor and Perry Ellis, the consistent performer for Kansas in that front court. For Texas, Isaiah Taylor and DeMarcus Holland in the backcourt. And that huge front line, Lammert, Ridley, and Holmes. Miles Turner, the freshman phenom, comes off the bench for Rick Barnes' team. Barnes, 598 career victories. Now in his 17th year as the head coach at Texas. Our officiating crew here at the Irwin Center: Doug Sermons, Ray Natilli, and Rick Crawford. It's now a packed house for Kansas and Texas. 32nd all-time meeting. The Jayhawks are 23-8 against the Longhorns. Ball knocked towards the sideline, and it is out of bounds. So Kansas will open up, and the one thing that Rick Barnes has done, Jimmy, the last 2 games, he's played exclusively zone, something that he has not done in his 28 years as a head coach.
Exactly, and I think one of the early things to look for is if they get it down low with their big guys to see how they react. Now, if they make a shot or two, that's great, but they may be intimidated a little bit and hesitate a touch.
On a kick out, Oubre's been hot. Jumper doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Lammert for Texas. Longhorns are 14-4, 3-2 in the Big 12, coming off a 66-48 win over TCU on Monday night in Fort Worth. Near turnover, Taylor controls it for Texas. Lammert fires off the mark. Offensive board, Holmes. It's a jump ball, tie up, and possession arrow to Texas.
Lama will hit that shot, too, so that's a good shot for Texas. But right off the bat, we see how they go after the offensive glass. And Holmes is really terrific. He's in terrific shape this year. He's moving. He's really probably the X factor for this Texas team.
Texas has gotten back to quicker ball movement, trying to turn defense into offense. Fight for the loose ball. It's controlled by Kansas. Ellis comes away with it. Ellis brings it across. Jayhawks, younger group. Selden's a sophomore, Mason's a sophomore, Oubre's a freshman, Ellis and Traylor are juniors.
Keep in mind, watch the middle of the floor, too. That's a good place to attack a zone. But the guards for Texas slide back and protect that very nicely.
Ellis off the dribble on a kick. Shot clock is down to 6. Mason trying to make it happen. Mason, the penetration, the floater doesn't go. And it's rebounded by Holmes on the weak side.
And to my point a moment ago, that's one of those shots where you start looking for a shot blocker as you drift through the middle of the floor. So I think even if they block a lot of shots, that's one thing. But the intimidation factor and the hesitation coming through really is going to be a factor for that front line of Texas.
Isaiah Taylor setting up the offense. He missed 10 games with a left wrist injury. Jump shot. Holmes knocks it down. It's a triple. Jonathan Holmes, who has really added to his game in the switch to the small forward role this season, shooting it at 37% from long range.
It not only has given him more minutes at the wing position, but it has helped him in terms of being able to get better advantages against the small forwards that he goes up against.
He's down about 22 pounds from last spring. Ellis, double team comes. Kansas having a tough time getting clean looks.
Great strip there by Taylor.
And now the speed. Taylor accelerates to the rim. Contact. And the foul. Taylor with a bucket. And a chance at a three-point play for the Longhorns.
And how about the defense in the squeeze in the corner? It kind of comes out and slides to the sideline. But this is where Taylor has the ability to put it to a different gear. He just flies down the floor with transition, and the defense making things happen. But boy, in transition, if they can get some easy buckets, they'll get the fans into this game.
Isaiah Taylor has given Texas a 5-0 lead. He can add to it at the free throw line where he shoots it at 81%. Obviously, they're a different team when Taylor is feeling good. He's got a fearlessness that's obvious when you watch him on the floor. Taylor had the injured left wrist and missed an extended period of time. And although they played well without him, Rick Barnes saying that Taylor just changes the dynamic of this team when he's on.
Well, and to that point, that drive that we just saw, the left wrist will not come into play because that's an instinctive drive on the right side. His jumper has given him some problems because people underestimate how important the left hand is as a guide hand shooting it.
Oubre, an open look. It's an air ball from the corner. And here comes Taylor.
He's got the bigs running with him, too.
Weaving through traffic. 6-0 lead for Texas. Spread it out now with Holmes. Taylor can beat you with floaters off the penetration. He's defended by Mason.
And he'll make good decisions, too. If he starts into that floater and doesn't have it, he'll drop it down for one of their big guys.
Holland gives it up. Baseline. It goes for Holmes. Texas is 3 of 4 from the field. Kansas has taken an 0 for 3.
Well, they can't even get a good look.
Ellis, that's a good look. High percentage on the interior.
Yeah, nice little twist. That's the way to fill it. Get the defense moving a little bit and then fill the middle of the floor. I love the way Ellis just pivoted against the defender just then.
He's fundamentally sound. He's got a great feel for the game on the inside. And an 8-2 lead for Texas. Holmes is fouled out front by Oubre. Kelly Oubre Jr., the lefty, called on the foul.
We've spoken about the ability of Holmes. Look at him on the baseline. The catch, one quick dribble, and he uses that frame to get to the basket at 6'8", about 240.
Kansas looking for some offense. Brennan Green, who can be a zone buster, has checked in early for Bill Self's squad.
Yes, zone busters iron work when you get open shots.
Lammert, that's an open look. Rebound tracked down by Ridley. And a reload. Holmes thought about it. One dribble and a jumper. Rims out. And a foul called on the floor. It'll work against Kansas off the rebound action.
Well, even when Holmes misses that little one-bounce pull-up jumper, his shot looks so good. I thought that was going down. I think body-wise and body language, he thought it went down. And that gentleman right there, Bill Self, Kansas sideline, not happy with the calls going against them early.
Jamari Traylor, the foul. Rimming in. Connor Lammert gets the roll from three-point range.
Yeah, that was a little different. He knew he was supposed to shoot that one.
There's a look and a jump shot for Wayne Selden Jr. And shooting it at just 35% from deep. He connects.
One way to beat that zone, though.
The answer, Holmes, no. And it's rebounded by Ellis.
Yeah, they don't want to run and get out of control, but Kansas would be better served if they can get it down before the zone sets up. So it's a 2-3 look, but the wings come out pretty high. You notice where Holmes is?
Probing, Mason, kick, there's Green. Book it, a three.
That's exactly how you break it too, Ian. You spread it out. If they're going to come out on the wings like that, that means there are nice sleeves to get through.
The drive, Taylor can't finish it. Ridley stripped to the ball, it's going the other way. Kansas will have it with Texas in front by 3.
Well, when you know you're supposed to shoot the basketball, your confidence increases a touch. He gets a nice, friendly roll. Texas playing well. Texas knows that they're coming against a 2-3 zone, but look at how wide out this zone is right now. So the key becomes if you can penetrate and find the seam. Notice 55 is sitting Ridley in the back. Now look what happens. You've drawn everybody to the middle of the floor. It allows Green to not only be ready to shoot, but have rhythm. So Kansas gets a good look, and as we've touched on already, there haven't been that many clean looks. In order to get that rhythm going, you have to find ways to get the zone moving and people and their bodies moving.
Kansas is number 1 in the Big 12 in three-point shooting, just under 40%. They're 19th in the country. They trail 11-8 here on the road against Texas. Hard drive, Traylor loses the ball. Turnover, Kansas. Jayhawks are coming off an 85-78 win over Oklahoma at home on Monday night. They led by 19 at halftime, played a near-perfect first half, only to see the Sooners rally back. Then they had to hold on for the win. Miles Turner, Prince Ebay are in for the Longhorns. More length up front for Rick Barnes.
I was just going to say, thanks a lot if you're Kansas.
Turner, one of the best freshmen in the country. Keep it on the outside for Holmes. 10 to shoot. In trouble. Off the double.
Yeah, good double team across there.
Gives it up. Off balance. It goes! What a delivery by Taylor.
And a lot of times when you see a teammate get double teamed, guys disappear on him. Taylor did not. Taylor found a spot to be seen and also found a spot to get a shot off in rhythm.
Kansas playing its 4th straight game against a ranked opponent. Ball ricochets out of bounds, and the Jayhawks will retain it.
Now, Kansas coming out and throwing a good double team, but watch this area here. That's the place you have to come. Make yourself available. He catches it in stride and bangs it down.
Cliff Alexander, the freshman from Chicago, is in for Kansas, replacing Jamari Traylor. Alexander played well against Oklahoma, 13 points, 13 rebounds.
Now watch for Ellis flash. There's the little flash. He's got to make a good decision.
Ellis turns, and it just dies on the iron.
That's one way to get it to drop. Use the friendly rim.
Javon Felix is in for Texas. Rick Barnes will mix and match, usually go right around 9 deep, sometimes 10. Felix swings it. Holland to the hoop. Oh, high off the window with the offhand.
And with Alexander in there, Kansas thinks they have a little bit of a rim protector with him, but not that trip.
Alexander, 6'8", 240, burly and physical, and mobile. So going against this zone, they spread it out.
And one of the things you don't want to do is just go around the horn, if you will. There you go.
Ellis on a kick. Mason, high arcing delivery, doesn't go. Rebound fought for Alexander. Nearly got it to drop, but it's cleared by Turner. Here's Holland the other way. Turns the corner, and he carries it.
Turns it over, too.
DeMarcus Holland can have a major impact on the game without shooting. In this particular case, he does take the shot.
Yeah, exactly. And how does he do it? Going towards the basket to make things happen. And here's Ellis in the paint. You have to go quickly, and get it to die right there and drop down.
Kansas is 4 of 8 from the field. Texas is 6 of 11. And now Kendall Yancey will check in, replacing Holland. So it's Yancey and Felix in the backcourt. And across that front line, Lammert, Turner, and eBay for Texas. Green in there with Devontae Graham, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, seeing his first action for Kansas, along with Selden, Alexander, and Ellis. The give up. Big block. It's Lammert. He gums Alexander. Felix off the drive. Yancey gathers. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Lammert way outside. Tight defense there from Selden.
They keep consistently setting pick and rolls outside on the wings.
Shot clock is down to 11. Yancey takes a peek at the clock. He's matched up with Green. Turner will operate. The cut. Felix the fade. It's an air ball. And it's out of bounds.
You know, this shot gets blocked down this end, but this is the best execution you can have down low. And look at how far across the court he comes to fill a spot. Watch him here. Boom. He comes across and fills. It's exactly what Rick Barnes was talking to us about yesterday, the way they play their zone. They expect guys to travel big distances to help their teammates out.
And Barnes said he encourages his team for confrontations at the rim. He likes their chances with their length. Jump shot doesn't go from the outside. Graham running the offense now for Kansas.
That's because he doesn't have you and me playing the front line.
Well, certainly not me. I mean, you have a shot.
These guys are big down below.
Ridley back in for Texas. Here's Lammert.
Whoa, nowhere. Nobody home.
And it's out of bounds. Lammert was in between a shot and a pass. He got caught in no man's land. The Texas Longhorns. Great home court advantage here in Austin. They've got the early lead on Kansas. Bill Self has a powerhouse program in Lawrence, Kansas. 25 straight NCAA tournaments, and now they are in a select group. Conference championships consecutively. UCLA, Gonzaga, UConn, UNLV, and Kansas in the conversation. 10 straight Big 12 titles from 05 to 2014 in the regular season. It's going to be a test this year in the Big 12 because of the depth. And talking to Bill Self before the game, he said, the conference is a monster right now.
So well balanced. No easy wins in this conference. A lot of different looks. You get some teams that focus at the offensive end. He pointed out West Virginia that presses, has one of the best presses in the country.
Alexander clears it for Graham. 15 to shoot off of the timeout. Alexander gives it up, working the baseline. Ellis, Green on a fade. He knocks it down. Smooth stroke. Brandon Green out of Juliet, Georgia.
Yeah, Bill Self spoke before the game to us, when remember he mentioned we got to find a way to get to the middle of the floor as much as possible to make things happen.
Holmes back in for Texas. And Taylor handling the point guard duties for the Longhorns. 11-minute mark. First half. Holmes, that's from deep. Lammert taps it out to Taylor, and it's another rebound for the Longhorns.
Yeah, everybody looking to go rebound forgets the long shot will kick out long.
Taylor lines it up. Air ball.
Yeah, that's where that left hand comes into play, that he fractured 3 bones in the left wrist.
Quick move. Oubre rejected by Turner. That's freshman against freshman. Green, hot hand. He buries it. It's a 3. Brandon Green is scorching hot.
And that's one of the things he does so very well for Kansas. He'll find openings on the perimeter. And multiple three-point shots made in 6 games this season.
We are tied at 15. He had an impact in that win over Oklahoma with 12 points. Green's got 8 of the Kansas 15 so far. Taylor off the shake and bake. Lammert catching fire. Off. And it's rebounded by Oubre. Texas has missed its last 5 shots. Kansas can take its first lead.
Instead of blocking out almost Kansas, what they need to do is they need to be side by side with the bigs down there and hope they can out-jump them and get to the ball quicker.
Ellis sizing up Lammert, clears it for Green. We are past the halfway point of this first half. Graham. Ellis, the open look. Graham with the diagonal feed, and Rick Barnes has seen enough. It's a 7-0 run for the Jayhawks. Kansas has its first lead of the day. Tomorrow on on CBS, follow the clues to a CSI television event. 2 back-to-back new episodes start tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS.
Well, Kansas continues to spread the floor because they can. What happens is now you see they're bringing the Texas players out. This area is going to be wide open, so they have to react to that, and the baseline becomes open. So a good flash to the middle will cause some attention there, but Ellis just buries that little 15-footer from the baseline.
Trying to force a turnover, nearly did. It's out of bounds. Texas will retain it. Longhorns are down to 38% shooting. Kansas is at 50% from the field and on a 7-0 run.
Yeah, I knew, they knew that they were going to face Texas's zone look.
Turner, a jumper, short. Rebound tracked down by Graham for Kansas.
But I think the first thing that they were concerned with, how are we going to get it down low and shoot over it? Well, you don't have to. Just get it down low occasionally, kick it out, and shoot over the top of it.
Traylor back in, playing with Alexander. Oubre. Traylor's jumper doesn't go. And rebound to Ridley. Taylor up the floor in a hurry. Shovel pass for Holland, who returns for Texas.
Another pretty good look down the other end, though, for Kansas.
Turner way outside. Ooh, lazy pass, almost intercepted. Holmes controls it. Gives up his dribble. Deflected. Out of bounds. What an effort by Traylor. High energy and a hustle guy for Kansas.
Well, the energy level has picked up a notch defensively. There were probably 3 opportunities on this set, and you just can't teach that. You just have to keep going after the basketball. Terrific work all around defensively, especially with Traylor.
Traylor's not exactly 100%. He's been dealing with a hip flexor injury. 10 to shoot. Taylor swings it. Turner on a dump down.
And it's the double team, too.
Ridley, jump hook, no.
Now look at those blue shirts. I am 3 on the offside.
That's royal blue, Jimmy.
Thank you. What color did I call it?
Just blue.
No, just
you want to give it their specific Kansas
emphasis.
Hue.
Let me go back. We'll rewind. Look at that royal blue down deep, the way they're going after it, though.
Texas has missed its last 7 shots from the field. Frank Mason III returns for Kansas. Talented sophomore from Petersburg, Virginia. One thing that Self has looked for is for his guys to be more vocal. He said it's been tough to get it out of this group for some reason. Mason's not vocal. Ellis isn't a vocal guy on the court. He's respected.
Same with Oubre. He's respected. He's more of a speaker out there and a talker, but he's a freshman.
And Oubre is fouled. Holmes was there defensively, and that's number 2 on the senior from San Antonio, Jonathan Holmes. Kelly Oubre Jr. to the free throw line where he shoots it at 64%. First free throws of the afternoon for either team. Or for Kansas, their first. Get the fastest scores and updates for Kansas, Texas, and all teams with the CBS Sports app. The fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app right now. Kelly Oubre Jr., originally from New Orleans. The run is now extended to 9-0 Kansas.
And Oubre has that terrific stroke, not only at the line, but from the three-point stripe. Last 9 games, he's been playing very, very well, confidently.
Averaging just under 14 points per game over that stretch. Now defending Holland. Stutter step. Holland flings it up. Rimming, no. And rebounded by Traylor.
Still down the other end of the floor, too.
Texas has gone ice cold. It's 5-on-4. Corner jump doesn't go for Selden. Rebound to Turner.
Holland just getting back, and now he's going back to the offensive end, trying to shake it off. And I think Kansas missed an opportunity there to go towards the basket a little bit more.
Felix out front. Texas scoreless over nearly 4 minutes of game action here. Ridley way outside.
And this defensive pressure at all points down low. They're doing work before the catch.
Holland, the pull-up. Book it.
That's where he's deceiving. They know him as a defensive player, but he has to make things happen on the offense. Maybe get an uptick more aggressive in terms of looking for his shot.
And it breaks the drought for Texas. Kansas now up by 2, under 7 minutes to play. First half in Austin. Hard drive. Mason, the running one-hander. The foul was called on the push. It'll be Tyree Taylor picking it up for Texas.
Yeah, finally a reaction. You get a little screen up front. Holland comes across. Nobody picks him up. Little 15-footer at the elbow.
Summary, Texas opened up 8-0 lead on Kansas. Jayhawks settled down. They've got a 19-17 advantage, 3 of 7 in three-point territory, and Brandon Green has lit it up from the outside.
He sure has. He's got the rhythm going. He's finding the open seams. The pull-up jumper for 2 right there, but watch this one straight ahead. Had some big moments earlier in this year with the free throw line with some clutch shooting, and right now, early on, shooting the ball very well to give Kansas that little bit of oomph that they needed after the first 3 or 4 minutes where they were questioning themselves in their offensive sets.
He can fill it up. Over 2,000 career points in high school. Attended 2 different high schools, including Tip County. His father, Jeffrey, played at Pittsburgh State. Mother, Lori, at Missouri Southern. Both parents are teachers. Kansas has got a 2-point edge on Texas. After the timeout, Traylor makes his move on a kick.
Pretty good reaction up front there by the Texas guards.
The pull-up pop. Frank Mason III hits from the outside. Texas works it up the floor in a hurry. 6.5 to play, first half. Entry. Turner on a turnaround. It goes for Miles Turner. His collegiate choices came down to Texas and Kansas. He chose the Longhorns in state. Ellis twirls. Rebound controlled by Holland, and here come the Longhorns. Holland on a shovel. Felix open look. Rimming off the mark. And it's rebounded by Mason.
Well, look at Kansas trying to get it back down the floor.
Oubre to the rim.
Pretty. Very pretty. Beating that zone down and pace starting to pick up.
23-19 Jayhawks. Half court set here for Texas. Longhorns are 2 of 10 from three-point territory. Turner against Ellis. Nice jump in there. Taylor and Mason battling for it. Taylor off balance. The herky-jerky move from Isaiah Taylor.
Well, not only on the floor, Ian, but as he shoots the basketball, what he's trying to do is get a defender to lock his knees, to think that he's going to go by him or go up for a traditional little pull-up jumper, but he throws it up, little floater. Defenders just can't react quick enough.
23-21 Kansas. We approach 5 minutes to go in this first half.
Yeah, look at the middle of the floor right there. That's where they're trying to get a guy to be able to handle. There's the catch.
Traylor. The drive on. Denied. Another block for Texas, leading to a break. Holland a blast. Block from behind by Traylor. The turnaround by Turner. Rims out and rebounded by Traylor, who just re-entered the action.
And re-entered by putting his feet on the floor, which he had to do.
Green. The floater, no. And a rebound secured by Taylor. Here we go. Taylor right down the middle. And a block by Ellis. Follow doesn't go.
Oh, look at this. Oh, baby, what action. Pick it up and go.
Mason on a crossover. Mason the drive. He banks it in and a foul. What a sequence.
And that sequence just had extended time on it, back and forth. No points being scored until the very end. But watch this dive. Whoa, what a terrific effort to get in there. You got to pick it up. You have the 2-on-1 if you hurry. And he finishes it off. I'll tell you what, if you don't like watching college basketball with this intensity level,
Frank Mason III, 82% shooter. And he connects. Kansas has its largest lead. The effort of Traylor really stood out on that play for Kansas.
That was wild. He came from the backcourt and hit the floor about 10 feet from it.
Felix on a crossover. Felix, the leaner, no. And it's rebounded by Oubre. Mason slows it down for Kansas. Play called out by Bill Self along the Jayhawks sideline. Dump it down low. Alexander gets a touch.
Watch the middle now. They have to make better decisions. They get it in the middle, pass the basketball, and kick it out.
Oubre, catch and shoot. Off the rim. And Lammert's got the board for the Longhorns.
Does he ever have a smooth stroke, doesn't he?
Taylor trying to fake out Mason. Under 4 minutes to play in this first half. 5-point lead for Kansas. Taylor gets the step, the drive, and the deuce.
Yeah, he goes up that little extended layup towards the basket, and he makes very good decisions.
9 points now for Isaiah Taylor. 26-23, Jayhawks. Ellis defended by Leonard. Ellis off the glass. He's got that YMCA-like game.
Very good.
And it works.
A little bit of a bounce, little push. He goes upstairs with it. And I like that because he didn't go all the way to the basket because it was Ridley waiting from behind for a potential block.
Holland thought about the three, defended by Green. Under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Pick and roll. That shot is good and a foul. Cameron Ridley, the wide body, with a chance for three.
And Rick Barnes' team going after it down low and a little bit of a slow rotation. Watch 34. He gets there too late. And the big guy at 285 just overpowers him.
Music's biggest night is on CBS. Don't miss all your favorite stars in once-in-a-lifetime performances live at the Grammy Awards Sunday, February 8th, only CBS. 28-25, Kansas leading Texas. Bill Self told us before the game that the Jayhawks record is probably better than how they've actually played this season. He said even within the same games, they've looked really good at times and they've really struggled at times. This is kind of a feeling out process to see what kind of season Bill Self and company will have within the Big 12.
And he added to that point, too, that they're a youth. They're third, probably the closest to the third youngest team in the country. So obviously he's going to mix and feel things around, put different combinations on the floor. And because of that youth, I thought coming in, you know, I knew this, you could tell this was going to be a real big buildup because there are teams in this conference who think maybe it's the time that Kansas can be knocked off the throne. And so you have this activity in terms of Texas very, very confident to start. Kansas was not shooting the ball real well in the first 5 minutes, but now they've figured it out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Rick Barnes start switching up. Maybe he's throwing some of his full-court trap action in at some point.
You throw Iowa State into the conversation. Yeah. They are playing at such a high level right now. 28-26. Number 11 team in the country, Kansas, got a 2-point lead on 17th-ranked Texas. Mason on a dump down for Alexander.
Here's a switch, too. This is man-to-man right now. Now a little bit of a help. So they did come back with a switch.
Too hot for Traylor to handle, and it's out of bounds. A little too much on that pass from Selden.
So what happens then when you switch a defense, right? What you try to do as a coach and as a team, and Rick Barnes, nice move right there from a strategy standpoint. And he spoke about it a little bit yesterday. Get them to think. Make them think about the guards coming down the floor. Is it a zone? Is it a man-to-man? Switch it up a little bit. Take some time off the clock and rattle them. Make them overthink it maybe for a possession or two, and you can steal one.
Turnovers have been low. 3 for Kansas, 4 for Texas. Ridley off the bounce from Taylor. And he travels.
Yep, never caught it. A little low on that entry pass, I thought, below the waist. Difficult for the bigs to catch it on the move like that. Well, let's see if he ever had possession of this. He doesn't have it there. Now at the end there. At the beginning of that, he didn't have possession. And then when he finally pushed it against his belly, he then traveled and took an extra step.
Kansas up by 2, under 2 minutes to go first half. Selden, the dribble drive. Running one-hander doesn't go. Rebound snared by Alexander. Denied! Miles Turner with the rejection. Lob. It goes! Ridley going up top. And we are tied at 28.
And Big's a factor again. There he goes again with the tip.
Oh, follow jam! Alexander on a rack attack off the Mason miss.
Oh, when it goes up and down, is it ever exciting? Alexander showing us a little bit in terms of his follow-up ability. How about Ridley running the floor, Turner blocking another one of those crazy sequences up and down.
Taylor drives the baseline, gives it up inside. Foul is called. Ridley is going to the free throw line for Texas.
Well, follow your guy. Don't anticipate a make. And he gets it and puts it right down. Alexander coming off a real good game against Oklahoma with 13 points, 13 rebounds.
Second foul on Oubre for Kansas. Ridley shooting it at 65% from the line. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Adam Zucker, Seth Davis will get you caught up with what's going on today in college basketball. Kentucky trying to remain unbeaten. And that other Big 12 battle between TCU and West Virginia coming up on AT&T at the half. Texas is #1 in the Big 12 in free throw shooting at 74%. This is just the Longhorns' 4th free throw.
Yeah, you got to be ready to block out, though. Late in the half, Ridley a little tired going up and down. Not surprised that he had trouble at the line just then.
So Ridley missing on a pair. Kansas maintains the 2-point edge.
Good look.
Inside, big finish. Alexander, what a setup by Graham.
It was terrific because he was under control, reading it and forcing the big to step across to defend him.
Felix feeds it for Taylor on a kick for Holland.
Nice push out there by Ellis. Get Turner off the blocks where he's long and can just shoot right over you.
We're down to 42 seconds left first half. Taylor short. Rebound controlled by Alexander. 4-second difference. Shot clock to game clock. We're winding down here in the first half.
And there are actually fouls to give here too.
Devontae Graham handles it. 20 seconds to shoot.
Texas with only 14 fouls if they get in trouble.
Gives it up for Mason. We're down to 10 on the timer.
Yeah, but then that gives up the last shot of the half, too. So you want to play it straight up at this point if you can.
Mason lines it up. Rims out on a 3. 6 seconds left. Taylor up the floor in attack mode. Taylor to the hoop. Foul is called with .7 on the clock. Isaiah Taylor will shoot 2.
Well, one of the things as a guard coming down, you understand the clock situation, and then you start throwing your body at defenders. You see his body come across. It's really, at that point, it's not about getting the shot off first. It's about getting contact first so you're assured to get to the free throw line.
Taylor now in double figures. He's got 10 to lead Texas.
One shot.
Knocks down a pair. Mason three-quarter court. And that's the end of the first half here in Austin. Kansas 11-0 this season when leading at halftime. We've got a tight one in Texas. 32-30. Kansas in front of the Longhorns. Right now, let's send it to Adam Zucker standing by in New York. Ball coverage is sponsored by Microsoft Surface. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of chocolate and peanut butter. Kansas has dominated the Big 12 over the last 10 years as we check out the Buick first half stats. They didn't dominate the first half, but they do have a lead on Texas 32-30. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spanarkel. High intensity, high energy between these two teams building towards March, Jimmy.
I thought it was terrific in terms of both teams going right after one another and really doing the right thing in terms of aggressive play down deep. And you take a look at the types of plays. Texas playing the defense with the 4 blocks. They average about 8 per game. That's second in the United States. And Green comes back and lights them up from long range, gave them some rhythm, Kansas, and got them back into this game. Then the hustle plays broke out. There were 2 sequences in the first half that were just absolutely fabulous. Here, Kansas takes advantage of a hustle play to get a bucket to go down for Mason. So, boy, there was a lot of action in that first half. A terrifically played first half. And let's see how Kansas reacts now again facing this zone, the 2-3 look to begin with for Texas.
Kansas has won 6 of the last 7 meetings against the Longhorns. They're up by 2 as we start the second half here in Austin.
You see, they get the ball in there. The shot doesn't necessarily have to come in there, but you need to bring it to the middle of the floor.
Ellis swings it. Selden, hard drive. Another block for Texas. Ridley gets a piece. 7 to shoot. Selden clears. Does Mason know there's not much time left? Mason swings it. Oubre with the shot clock winding down. Blocked again. Ridley he gets 2 on the same possession for Texas.
Well, interesting enough, when Rick Barnes' team in the last game they played against TCU, they came out and weren't sure what to do, and Rick basically had a zone at them. They blocked the first 2 shots in that TCU game. Here they start this and block the first 2 shots against Kansas in the second half.
That's 6 blocks now. Ridley is fouled on the inside. He's going to the free throw line for Texas. You said they're number 2 in the country. They are second behind Kentucky at 7.7 per game.
Yeah, another long team that John Calipari has, but check your big guy coming out away from the basket. A lot of times you see the bigs block the shots right underneath, and you expect that because of size. There were 2 that Ridley had to move his feet first to get the hand on the ball.
Second foul on Traylor. Ridley missing at the line. He's now 0 of 3 at the free throw line, 65% on the season. He's dropped a lot of weight, in much better conditioning than he was his freshman year when he got to Texas. His numbers are down from his sophomore year, but Miles Turner obviously has come in and is playing a large role in the front court off the bench.
So here's a little different look, right? You look man-to-man. They'll show man-to-man, and then they come back. It's not going to confuse you too much, but it's a switch. You think it's man-to-man to begin. And take a look behind. Look behind in the middle of the floor. And that's where Traylor is right now. But the guards start to squeeze back.
Lammert defending Ellis, the cutter. Selden, the short pop, in and out. Ellis, the follow, that won't go. Rebound, controlled by Kansas. Mason doesn't take the 3. Gives it up. Ellis, the corner jump. Rims out. Lammert keeps it alive for Holland. Texas looking to regain the lead. Taylor. Oh, Isaiah Taylor with the floater.
Well, the difficulty, remember, he's a right-handed player. He's flying to his left, and you have to readjust yourself and think, okay, once I get into the air, now I have to control my body to make sure I get a decent look and a decent shot.
Kansas got outscored 21-3 to start the second half against Oklahoma, and they're having problems here on the offensive end. Traylor, the offensive rebound, and the putback.
Yeah, Bill Self thought he'd get some looks from right straight down the middle of the floor. You know, with Mason that time, a jumper, and then Traylor goes to work. Nice catch down on the blocks. Oh.
And a foul called. It's a reach-in as Traylor went for the knockaway. And that's number 3 now on Jamari Traylor. Second team foul called against the Jayhawks. They might have gotten Mason.
I think they may have, coming in with that big, you notice, big swipe at the basketball.
So it will be Mason. And there is Taylor again off the inbound. Isaiah Taylor is filling it up here for Texas.
Had a terrific first half, 4 of 8 from the floor for 11 points.
Oubre, the pull-up. Soft touch.
Sometimes those lefties, they drive you crazy trying to guard them because you're instinctively taught to jump at the right side of the body. You play against mostly right-handed players growing up. Nice cut around there.
Foul called. Jonathan Holmes wheeling on the inside.
You know, Texas really trying to make things happen. Nice little cut, and what does he do again? He pulls up and freezes a defender. Little step in, doesn't try to put it on the floor there because you see Ellis was there. It would have been some traffic, tough to put it on the deck. And that was a nice little cut there by Holmes also around Ridley.
He gets the roll in the first, 79% shooter. Thursday on CBS. Don't miss a minute of Elementary. Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu star a new episode Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. Holmes drops in a pair. Kansas has 3 team fouls early. Remember, team fouls were not a factor in that first half. Right. Texas now 7 of 10 at the free throw line. They've got a 1-point lead on Kansas. Middle of the floor. Traylor coughs it up. Scrum for it. And the possession arrow would go to Kansas. But a timeout taken.
Good thought process there.
Texas up by 1 on Kansas. 17:09 to play in the second half. Texas in front. The Longhorns point guard Isaiah Taylor is leading the way, and he is the subject of our AT&T Fast Analysis, Jim.
Started it with a terrific first half in terms of setting the flow. Watch him push this ball ahead of it. It's like a pass to yourself, which is legal. You run out. It gives you a head start to go after the basketball. Watch this beautiful floater through the lane, coming down on the left, and another little floater on the baseline. So Taylor showing a lot of confidence, showing us the ability to throw different looks at Kansas on the offensive side of the floor.
He moved to Houston from Hayward, California before his junior year of high school. Went under the radar. Selden is fouled out front. eBay came out to greet him. So Taylor was not highly recruited. And even when he signed his letter of intent, I'm not sure there was this building anticipation in Austin. Most people thought Kendall Yancey, another second-year player like Taylor, would emerge as the starter at point guard, but it's been Taylor, and it's been pretty obvious that he makes this team tick.
Yeah, and to make the point again, you know, he fractured that left wrist earlier in the year when he was playing better. Had to take the time off and missed a lot of action, and now all of a sudden he's trying to get back. And even though he's a right-handed player, you still need that left hand not only to guide your shot, but also to be put it on the floor. So you see him on the floaters, doesn't come into play that much. Haven't seen him shoot the jumpers, and that's where it does come into play.
Taylor sits. Selden hits on a pair. Felix is back in along with Miles Turner. Felix, a jump shot. He can't find his range. Rebound is tracked down by Holmes. Kansas up by 1.
Yeah, good run down, too. Felix likes to shoot that shot off screens.
Felix faces a double team.
Oh, nice release pass.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. Holland feeds it for Felix, and it's partially blocked by Selden. Controlled by Oubre. Steps into it. Off the mark. Rebound cleared by eBay. Felix gets around Selden. eBay's not going to shoot it from there.
If he does, he's probably going to get an exit stage left to the bench.
Although he did make a three-pointer in practice yesterday, and everybody looked around like, did he just
Where'd
do
that come from?
Felix flicks it for Holland.
Watch him. Yep, that's what he does.
Good seal by Turner. Catch and shoot. That's what Barnes has encouraged him to do. Don't think about it. Don't put it on the floor. He's got a high release point.
Right, well, that last part is the most important because he goes right up over you. He referenced guys like Jack Sigma, who you don't know, you're too young, but we're going way back, who extends over people to shoot the basketball.
Sonics and Bucks big man.
Oh, baby.
Perry Ellis misses it. The follow doesn't go. And eBay cleans the glass for Texas.
Yeah, there are a couple of those intimidation type moves right there. No block shot, but you're looking for him.
Corner jump. Holmes put it on the board. It's a 3.
How about the best part of that shot to me, Ian, is watching the bench from behind him. He catches it wide open. As he's catching it, the entire bench lifted.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station. 4 of 6 from the field in the second half. Kansas is 2 of 10, and the Longhorns have a 4-point lead.
Well, Holmes shooting it from long range. Here he's wide open, but look behind them with the bench, and they all get up and recognize they got the best look in the house right behind them. They're all standing up, arms in the air. Boom, he finishes it off. But the other thing to remember, even though the place explodes after that shot, if you're Bill Self in Kansas, go back to your huddle and say, okay, big shot. Guys, we're only down 4 points. It's not like we're down 44 points.
810 consecutive games with at least one three-pointer for Texas. Kansas has won 6 of its last 7 at an 86-81 loss at Iowa State 1 week ago. The drive by Selden. Ball movement leads to Mason. Green provided the instant offense in the first half.
That's a man-to-man look right now that they're getting with a lot of jumps.
Alexander is in. Mason the drive, and he's fouled out front. Well, step aside. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Time in the zone defense, he's switching a little bit now, this man-to-man look, and look at the perimeter action that they have, really coming out, finding it. And then at the end of this, what Rick Barnes' team has to remember, if you have a drive going to the basket and you have shot blockers behind, let them do their work at the end. Let them block the shot. Now, as a guard and a in my former days, Ian, it's easy to say that, to let the guys block the shots, but Rick Barnes recognizes that instinctively a guard is always trying to steal the ball and strip it. But if you have those big guys behind you, you got to pull the hands back a touch.
We have had 7 lead changes in the second half, just 5 minutes and change in. Frank Mason III is at the free throw line where he shoots it at 82%. Kansas as a team is 5 of 5. Coming up Monday on CBS, catch the Super Bowl's funniest and most outrageous commercials of all time. Boomer Esiason and Scorpions' Catherine McPhee host an all-new Super Bowl's greatest commercials Monday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. 1 out of 2 from Mason. Rebounded by Turner for Texas. Longhorns lead it 42-39. Texas has looked sharp in this second half. Turner, one dribble off the ball fake. He puts it in.
Skill level is outstanding in a lot of different ways. Number one is how he finishes so up high.
And blocked on the outside. eBay delivers.
How about the reaction by eBay to come out on the floor, too? That's the impressive part about Turner and eBay, and we've seen it from Ridley, leaving the middle of the floor and going out on the wings to block shots this afternoon.
44-39, Texas. 6 minutes going by, second half. Turner off the mark, and a good box out by Kansas.
I like that reverse almost and just face up shooting the ball. That's a touch. Back into his own look right now.
Work the perimeter now along the baseline. Alexander on a kick. Look for the open man. Green doesn't take the jump shot. Ellis the cover. And Alexander with a flush.
Both sides of the floor, the key on that play coming down. Use the both sides. Get Texas to move back and forth. Remember, there's space so far that there are opportunities. Look, just a basic handoff there to the wrong team.
Felix coughs it up. Turnover, Texas. Kansas gets into a set, trailing 44-41.
That's Alexander roaming the baseline. Tough to go over the top with a lob.
Mason, bullet feed. Ellis on a kick for Green. Felix recovers. Ellis slapped away from behind. 10 to shoot. Selden. That's a three. We are tied at 44. Wayne Selden Jr. from long range.
And Kansas gets a little break right there with that loose basketball. Goes off the leg, rolls to the corner. Texas doesn't come up with the opportunity.
First three-pointer for Kansas in a long stretch.
Nice screen out front.
Taylor using the eBay pick. Turner thought about it. 14 to shoot.
I think you may want to get Turner down on the blocks a little bit better.
Timer is down to 9. Felix makes his move. Tip ball. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Mason.
Now, sometimes you have to work for the bounces. They get it, and that's the best time to get an open three. Selden knocks it down from long range, a 35% shooter on the year from the three-point stripe.
Holland is in for Texas. Catching fire. Turner short on a three. Ridley trying to control it. And it's Holland who comes out of the pack with it. And a new shot clock for Texas.
Every single possession just has the feel that it's going to go down to the wire, even with 12 minutes and change left.
Holland with Green there defensively. Good fake by Holland. 14 to shoot. Taylor indicates a play with 10 on the timer. Taylor, the fend off, the fade, rimming, no. And rebound controlled by Green for Kansas.
Great work on the defensive glass by Kansas. Keep in mind, Texas is a plus 12 on the rebounding. Second in the country with rebounding margin.
Behind Quinnipiac.
Yeah, they get a second opportunity there, too.
Green, that's a bomb. It's good. Brandon Green knocks it down.
Well, we've seen two plays right now for Kansas where they've gotten good bounces. You create your own luck by moving and keeping an eye on the ball. But they get two long-range shots out of it.
It's an 8-0 run for the Jayhawks and a screen out front. Turner was battling for position with Green. It'll work against Kansas. Brandon Green has come off the bench and provided a lift.
He sure has. Not rattled by the zone.
Basketball coverage is sponsored by Sonic's new Little Doggies. USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. Well, for Texas, it always seems to be a block party. The Longhorns, both literally and figuratively. Turner, 3 today. Ridley has 2 as a team. They have 7 blocks against Kansas.
And with that said, a couple of the blocks really have been extended away from underneath the basket. We've seen Ridley go out there. We've seen eBay, Turner. Each of 3 of them have gotten blocks outside the paint. You know what? And I'm not so sure. I'm impressed with the Kansas poise right now. As Bill Self said to us before the game, the young team reacted well.
Taylor misses on the jump shot. Kansas has turned it over just 3 times today. 0 turnovers in the second half. They average 12.8 per game. 47-44. Jayhawks in front. Mason turns the corner. Can't hit the runner. Rebound. Wow. To Taylor for Texas.
Yeah, see that handle in there? A little bit of traffic.
Longhorns down by 3. We are under 11 minutes to play now in the second half. Taylor takes the baseline. Taylor can't get a clean shot off.
Never got his legs underneath him. He lost his balance.
Never hit the rim, so shot clock at 15. Lammert to Holland. Feed it, mid-post. Turn, home. Count it.
So here's a guy who's played some power forward. He's moved to the 3 spot. Now you see power forward. He's hit that jumper before, so he's a real nice blend for Rick Barnes' team.
Brennan Green is limping off after the play. He's replaced by Oubre. And Green banged his knee right there off the rebound action with Ridley.
Knee on knee. That'll get your attention.
Jamari Traylor returns for Kansas, as does Devontae Graham. On a kick, Oubre. Alexander way off on the jump shot.
Yeah, they're going to let him know it too.
47-46. Kansas leading Texas. Will hit the halfway point of this second half. Stolen away. It's Graham. Race to the rim. Graham feeds. Mason fills.
Is that an excellent read by Graham coming down the floor? He was 1-on-2, and I'm starting to think about 30 feet out, saying, what are you doing here? You're going to get yourself in trouble. But just by veering to his right, he allows a delayed trail.
Contact on the inside. Oubre was trying to use the body against Holmes.
Look at the way he brings 2 guys here, so it allows at least a little bit of a pass by Mason. Here's the easy steal, and watch, he's going to come to our left watching. That allows his teammate to fill. Terrific, terrific recognition just then coming down the floor by Graham.
They're high on Devontae Graham, a true point guard. Mason is more of a pure scorer, but they can play them together. Texas, 1 of 3 from 3-point territory in this half. They trail by 3. It's blocked on the outside. Extending out is Oubre. Oubre on the break. Oubre the bump. He lays it in.
Boy, a little tricky move there by Oubre, too, coming down the floor. It's like Rick Barnes wants to talk things over, but once again now Kansas showing their defensive effort. They're in the midst of a 12-2 run, and it's making it happen with the defensive effort down the floor.
Run that you mentioned, Jimmy, going to break over the last 4 minutes and change. Yes, they might be young, but they are very poised under Bill Self. Kansas up by 5 after the timeout. Texas half-court set. They work it in to Holmes. The back in over Oubre. It's good.
Terrific big step just then. You got to help him out double teaming. He's just too strong. His elevation is terrific. Really just a simple call by Rick Barnes to get a good look. Well executed by Texas.
51-48 Jayhawks. We are under 9 minutes to play here in Austin. Graham directing traffic. Looking down to the post, they can't get there. Graham lobs it. Traylor, lob and slam! On a special delivery to Alexander.
See, so often we talk, and it's the right thing to do to get the ball into the middle of the floor. Traylor has to be ready to catch, and look at down here. Everybody vacates down low, and they go over the top. So the shot may not necessarily come from Traylor, whoever catches is there, but he's got to be able to read. He's got to be able to read wings and the baseline. Nicely executed down their end to match Texas's effort.
Alexander, 8 points off the bench, 4 of 7 from the field. Post-up opportunity for Holmes on a kick. Holland lines it up. Rims out. Lammert keeps it alive, but he couldn't grab it. That's secured by Kansas.
Good pull back by Graham here. No numbers coming down the other way.
Jayhawks with a chance to take their largest lead of the day. Graham feeds baseline. Oh, Alexander misses on the jam. Outside for Mason. Under 8 minutes to play.
What a beautiful look, though, to go right past the zone.
Graham to Traylor, middle of the floor. Kick for Graham. Jumper on the way. Doesn't go. Lammert comes away with it, and Traylor slow to get up. Stop and go. Taylor to the hoop. Running one-hander, no. Tip in goes. It's Miles Turner.
And a little bumping down the other end. I think a couple of players thought a call was going to be made. No call. They play on. And now all of a sudden you hear in the building come alive.
Fans are on their feet here at the Irwin Center. Back in.
Alexander, he's stepping up a little bit right now.
Alexander bumped by Turner.
The action down the other end. Texas making it happen. A little floater to go up. Big fella finishes it off. Turner coming over the top. Boy, this has been a lot of fun to watch.
This has been a fun one here in Austin, our game summary. Both teams shooting it at 41%, but Kansas has really taken care of the basketball, limiting turnovers. They've gotten a jolt from the bench, 19 points. Texas living up to the scouting report. A lot of block shots, 7 of them. Tough to attack the rim on them, but Kansas is finding little cracks.
Well, a lot of people around here talk Big 12 basketball. This might be the year that Kansas is vulnerable. But you have, as a collective league, you got to get wins like this. Texas has to help the rest of the conference out and win a game like this.
Great point. Trying to get Ellis involved. Green will feed it to him out front.
I like their poise.
Ellis twirls. Graham, a freshman, gives it up to Mason, a sophomore. Kick to the corner. Green contested. Oh, he's got it. Brandon Green cannot miss from long range.
Yeah, it's one thing to be the shooter, but how about the decision by Mason in not shooting the basketball against taller guys as he goes through the traffic? Watch where he ends up. Everybody collapses, then you kick. Terrific timing by Mason to get it out to your shooter, Green. But without the point guard play, you're not getting that open shot.
Green is 4 of 5 from downtown. 14 points off the bench. Turner unable to answer. Weak side rebound to Graham. Rushing up the floor, look out! Oh, foul called. Alexander tumbles, and now he's going to the free throw line. The freshman from Chicago shoots it at 72%.
And one of the things about him, and he had some conversations with Bill Self saying he's got to, both of them agreed that he's got to play with a higher level of energy. We've seen some attacks down low, the one dunk, the one miss. But running the floor is pretty impressive also.
I think he got the message. He was benched for the final 15 minutes of that Iowa State game.
Right.
And then bounced back with a double-double in the win over Oklahoma on Monday night. Second free throw here for Alexander. He splits a pair.
All right, I'll go back to that concept that Bill Self talked to us before the game, and you mentioned it in the first half. His team doesn't play like 40 minutes. Sometimes they're in, sometimes they're out. So far, they've been fairly impressive in terms of the consistency throughout this entire game.
7-point lead for Kansas. 6:22 to play in this second half. Who's going to step forward for Texas?
I think they're trying to touch Holmes with the basketball.
Holland draws 2 defenders, 9 to shoot. Taylor makes his move, a switch. Taylor the shake and bake.
Oh, great defensive effort just then by Graham.
Looping feed. Green's got it. Drive. Gives it up. Alexander misses on the jam. But he's going to the free throw line. Green unselfish, and maybe because he wasn't in a spot where he's comfortable. He's more comfortable out on the perimeter.
Well, and I'll add to that, too, Ian. He knows right now he's got 2 bigs coming after him that he's going to be swallowed up by those 2. That is an exceptional read on his part. And unfortunately, Alexander couldn't get the left jam to go down. But this guy is running the floor and really putting an energy level together for Bill Self.
Nice touch on that free throw for Alexander. One of the top recruits in the country, along with Miles Turner. Kansas thought maybe they'd have both in a Jayhawk uniform. Turner elected to go with Texas. And Alexander, similar to Turner, coming off the bench in their first years in the Big 12.
And you're absolutely correct. Under 6 minutes, this building and Texas people in general, who is going to step up and play?
Feed down low. Ridley, the double. Ridley trying to fight through it. The cutter. Holland, left hand. It goes.
Good patience there by Ridley, wasn't it, with the traffic? Everybody just closing in tightly on him.
58-52, Kansas in front. Jayhawks slow it down with 5:25 to play. Ellis thought about it, puts it on the floor. The fake, the left hand. Perry Ellis so poised and polished.
Yeah, he's just showing his experience, not rushing, not being afraid to challenge somebody, but making sure that you go when you want to go and not when they force you to go.
Back in front by 8. Taylor, off-balance delivery to go, and it's rebounded by Ellis.
They had some numbers if they hurried, but good decision. Don't rush it on the road. Make sure that with an 8-point lead,
they can take a double-digit lead here with 4:50 to go. Mason, beautiful fake. He gets to the rim. Frank Mason on the shake and bake.
Well, you have to ask defensively, too. Where were your shot blockers just then? And Rick Barnes wants to talk things over because of that. Well, once again, we saw Mason kick one to the corner to the Green for the opening. Look at the read. Everybody vacates behind them. A quick little underhand. That's the fastest way to get it there.
Teams jockey for position within their respective conferences. And the Big 12, as Jim mentioned, a feeling this year that maybe Kansas could be tossed aside and somebody else could emerge in the regular season. Kansas has won at least a share of the Big 12 regular season title 10 straight years. They've got a 10-point lead on the road. Ridley! A wicked bounce as it ends up above the rim for Ridley to finish it off.
Yeah, they get a quick bounce there, a lucky bounce, and I have to credit Bill Self. You know, over the last 10 years, his defensive team have been terrific. Oh, look at this.
Oh, Alexander had it blocked, but Ellis is there. So give the credit on the inside, Turner.
I like the way Kansas is going aggressively towards the basket, too, whether it's the drive or not.
Catch and shoot. Holmes, too strong. Ridley couldn't grab it, and it's tracked down by Gramel at 4 minutes to play in the second half. 10-point advantage for Kansas. Texas led this one 44-39 at the 14:36 mark. Since that one, a 25-10 run. Mason to the hole. And a foul called as Mason came up with it. We'll step aside with 3:46 left in Austin.
This organization that we need to say something.
Belichick, speaking for over 15 minutes, took questions and said he is done discussing the issue, also stressed how embarrassed he is about spending so much time investigating the matter while trying to prepare the Patriots for Super Bowl 49 against the Seahawks. Let's go back to Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel now in Austin.
All right, Adam, thanks very much. Jim actually checked the basketball here before the game. I thought that was really nice of you to do.
Well, I have some results that I'm going to break later.
Press conference?
Exactly.
Maybe just tweet those results. 64-54. Kansas in front with 3:24 to play. Oh, Mason doesn't get it, but it's tipped home by Alexander.
Alexander has really stepped up his game in the second half in particular. Very close to being on the rim just then, but stayed away long enough.
Largest lead, Turner. Off the turnaround, it doesn't go. Rebounded by Holland. The cutter, Taylor, spinorama, high off the window, and a foul call. 3:03 mark of this second half. Kansas leads it 66-54 in Austin. That's 17 fouls now against Kansas. And Isaiah Taylor at the free throw line. Big 12 standings. Kansas at 4-1, tied with Iowa State. Kansas State in the mix. West Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma. Baylor's a top 25 team, yet they're under 500 in the conference.
It's amazing. Amazing conference. A lot of different styles of basketball. And now you're going to see Rick Barnes possibly come with his trapping. Yeah, here we come. Turner with the trap. See how Kansas handles it. They have the poise.
Mason loses his footing.
Trickery there, huh?
Under 3 minutes to play now. Graham and Mason in the backcourt for Kansas. Green extended playing time. He's provided the perimeter presence for the Jayhawks. Ellis up front along with Alexander. Shot clock is down to 13. Graham gives it up. Ellis backs it out. 9 to shoot. Graham takes a look at the clock. Swings it from the corner. Ellis doesn't go. Long rebound. Taylor knocks it over to Alexander.
Yeah, bring it back out. If the strategy on the first possession is to take it to 10 or less, it has to be the same on the second possession.
They get to chew up more clock with a 10-point lead. Graham dribbling out of trouble.
Yeah, Texas will start reaching now. Let's watch for the reaches, see if they can put them to the line.
Ellis can't get it to go. Alexander is fouled. Texas has not come up with loose balls. There have been some missed shots here, but Kansas has come away with offensive rebounds and second and third chance opportunities. And for Miles Turner, that's the quota. Turner is fouled out at the 2:06 mark.
Well, one of the things that's really impressive on the road, Ian, is that Kansas has not turned the ball over in the second half.
Wow.
That is incredible.
So that is it for Miles Turner.
You know, I would say that if you did that as Turner exits, good-looking young player, if you did that at home and you were Kansas and didn't turn it over in the second half, then I might not give you that much credit for it, even though it's still great. But to do it on the road in a pretty good environment right here. And once again, to repeat, I think it's important that Bill Self said, hey, we're a young team. We don't know what we're going to do, even from game to game or in the game, how we're going to play minute by minute. And I think these guys have stepped it up. Taylor, quick move.
Off the window and the foul. Isaiah Taylor is going to the free throw line with his team down by 9.
Hasn't had, in first half, he had some opportunities coming through the lane just then, putting it up. That's what they need to do. Now they're going to mix it up. They hope for a free throw to go in right here. Allows them to pick up full court, a little bit traps. It's a little different, though, without Turner on the floor because he's pretty active as a 6'11 guy to help them in their traps.
19 points for Taylor. DeMarcus Holland returns. Lammard up front with Ridley and Holmes. And this would cut it to 8 with 1:59 on the clock. Taylor doesn't get the roll. Rebounded by Alexander.
Now, see, I think Texas has to continue to try to double team Ian with this particular, with the scoring deficit right here. Fouls aren't going to kill you. The clock will.
Mason gives it up. Ellis is fouled with 1:47 to go. They handle the pressure. They actually get Ellis underneath, and he takes a poke to the eye.
And how about the blend just then, right? The last two possessions, we saw them taking time off the clock. Now, all of a sudden, they get by the press, and they come down and they say, well, you know what? We have a good opportunity here. Let's go ahead and take it while we can at the advantage. Smart play by Kansas.
13 points for Ellis, 4 rebounds and a block shot.
Either a drive to the basket or somebody from Texas is going to have to step up and start hitting some long-range shots.
69-58 Kansas. We're down to a minute 40 left. Lammard to 3, short. Long rebound to Taylor. Taylor drives in and connects. We're going to time out with 1:36 to play. Texas cuts the Kansas lead to 9. We're back with more in a moment. Game reset with Kansas leading at 69-60. 2 timeouts left for the Jayhawks, 1 for Texas. Each team with 8 fouls. Possession arrow belongs to the Longhorns. Kansas at 15-3, the number 11 team in the country, trying to improve to 5-1 in the Big 12. They're the all-time leader in Big 12 conference regular season wins. And every year, Bill Self has a competitive team. Maybe this one doesn't resemble the teams that he's had in the past with that big guy in the pivot and the rim protector he's talked about, but they've been very poised under pressure on the road in Austin.
Yeah, he is the backcourt. He knows he can't turn the ball over right now.
Mason gives it up. They get it ahead to Green, who's been a valuable ball handler in this second half.
Texas with their 3 guards defensively.
Now they're going to have to make a decision, and they make it foul given out front. And they're going to send Devontae Graham, a 71% shooter, to the free throw line. Graham missed 6 games with turf toe. He's got a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. That has been amongst the best of the Big 12. Felix in, and he replaces Kendall Yancey.
Felix is the shooter, three-point shooter. They'll try to spread him out on the floor.
But he struggled, though, today, 0 of 5 from the field.
But when you're down 3 possessions, with less than a minute and a half or so, I don't have a problem going to the fouling game because there's not enough possessions to get back into it. So a lot of coaches don't believe in that, but I do.
Lammert returns. He replaces Holland.
Another three-point shooter on the floor. They're going to have to hit a couple in a hurry and get a turnover, which Kansas has not done in the second half yet. Turn the ball over.
2 out of 2 for Graham as that one rattles home.
Yeah, and that's the best way to take any fouling mechanism out of the game, right? Somebody's going to foul you to stretch the game out. Keep hitting your free throws.
Crossover. Taylor rims out. Almost had a traditional try at a three-point play. Instead, they'll go to the free throw line for a pair. So that'll be Mason's 4th foul for Kansas. And they are down to 1:14 left. Bill Self's team closing in on a huge road win in Austin. First free throw is good for Taylor. 22 points for Taylor. We haven't seen much of Oubre and Selden of late because this group has gelled nicely in the second half.
Yeah, and have not panicked at all. That, I think, is the key. And now it continues to be the job of the Kansas guys. Who wants the basketball? Who's going to go get it? And then see who deals with the double team.
71-62. Get it in for Graham. Just made a pair of free throws. Goes cross court for Mason. Mason will rush it across. Ellis hooks it inside. Two-handed stuff. Cliff Alexander.
Wow, and did Ellis ever fill perfectly? You get a double team coming to you at half court. Find some space on the floor. Well done again by Kansas. Yep.
Yancey misses the layup. And now Texas backs off of Mason. Only 40 seconds left.
Can't say enough, Ian, about how they controlled the tempo in the second half.
And now the foul given with 32.9. Mason will go to the free throw line.
Well, you know the double teams are coming. Nice fill right there. Boom, he fills it. And look what happens. You get your teammate Alexander just wide open underneath. Pretty much a nice way to try to fish off Texas.
Frank Mason III at the free throw line. His improvement has been a big part of the Jayhawks' success so far this season. He backed up Nadir Tharp last season, and Mason had a tough time finding his way, exactly what his role was going to be. Averaging just under 13 points, just over 4 assists per game. He sticks a pair of free throws. We're down to 32 seconds left here in Austin. Felix lines up a long one. Rebound knocked to the outside. Out of bounds. Kansas has got it with 22 seconds to play.
Still pushing up, but this is one you just kind of let it go. And now I think Texas is going to do just that.
We'll go to the Pac-12 next with UCLA and Oregon here on CBS, our college basketball doubleheader. Final seconds. The Jayhawks do not turn it over in the second half. A young Kansas team makes a strong statement on the road in Austin. The number 11 Jayhawks with a 75-62 win over 17th ranked Texas. Kansas a winner in Austin. For Jim Spanarkel, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from Austin. Right now, let's send you to Adam Zucker in New York.